Welcome to the FocusCast. On this episode, we're talking about the Pomodoro Technique.
Pomodoro? Hold on,
that
bro.
sounds legit.
What? So that's Italian for tomato. What are we talking about? Making sauce now on the FocusCast?
Well,
or
you
what?
are a great chef. So no, exactly. Not exactly. Today, we'll dig into task time management techniques. And today we're specifically talking about the Pomodoro Technique, and we're going to see if it's worth looking at for you solopreneurs and
it's
side
useful or
hustlers.
not, right?
I'm down.
Let's go, bro.
Let's dig in.
I'm Jonathan Noel.
And I'm Brian Noel,
This is the FocusCast
where we drop focus guides for solopreneurs and side hustlers.
with a six-figure goal in mind.
So let's get focused as boy. So, bro, the problem is mofos can't focus.
Right.
This is actually when we looked up solopreneurs and some of their main challenges, staying focused was one of them. So today we're talking about the Pomodoro Technique to see if it's a task time management system that may be helpful for all of you solopreneurs and side hustlers. So why don't you give us a few stats on our inability to focus?
You want to start a business, right?
Yes.
You might have to focus on some
I've
things.
started a few businesses.
Right? You're on like number 30.
Yeah.
But it takes some focus, right, bro?
Yep.
You mean you don't just go home and aimlessly think about random stuff to start your businesses? So this is a couple stats on focus. Harvard Business Review, smartphone and tablet use is spiking, and we now use digital media for an average of over 12 hours per day.
Holy shit.
This hyper-connected state does not allow us to process, recharge, and refocus. We increasingly are overwhelmed with distractions flying at us from various connected devices.
Oh,
You know what this is?
12 hours a day.
This is like
Give
this
it
is
to
like
me, bro.
electronic bukkake.
What is bukkake?
We're gonna have to cut that out.
Gosh, so studies indicate that we spend anywhere from 35 to 55% of our time, sometimes much more, in meetings.
Ooh,
So,
that sounds like some corporate nightmare status.
oh my gosh, so we're distracted from our devices, and we're spending a bunch of time in non-productive meetings. What are people meeting about? 55% of their time?
Dude, this is like when you hear stories about our sister worked for Goodwill Industries.
Yeah.
This is what I imagine. It's like you got
Government nonprofit.
you've got a bloated company, okay, with a bunch of people whose jobs don't even really need to exist.
Yeah.
And what do? That to justify their existence in the organization, they organize pointless meetings.
My favorite meetings are meetings when people say that in the meeting we should have a meeting about this.
It's a meeting about the next meeting and what we're going to talk about.
We should meet to go over the meeting.
That's the worst
And
meeting
then
I've
you
ever
meet
heard.
to recap the meeting. I think that's the number 2 signs of a shitty meeting. If you have to recap a meeting, how productive was it? Anyway. All right, so what's next, bro?
So we've kind of covered these things before when it comes to trying to focus, right?
Yeah.
Notifications on your phone.
Yep.
Okay. Pointless meetings. That's
Yes.
horrible. Cluttered desks.
Yep.
Not setting boundaries with coworkers who just show up and start talking about the game you don't give a shit about. Did you see like, rah, rah, rah? No, I didn't go to Auburn. I don't care about Auburn.
Yeah.
I don't.
Yeah.
No one in my entire family went to any of these colleges.
I think the best answer for like older corporate environments where someone's like, "Hey man, did you see the game last night?" It's like, "No, I had sex with my spouse last night."
What did you do?
Sorry, anyway.
You're like, how's the match?
Yeah, my match was great.
So yeah, constant distractions, poor diet, poor sleep quality is big, obviously.
Yeah.
So these are things that are stopping us.
From focus. So the Pomodoro Technique, this is pretty cool. So this is in a sense like the OG time blocking. So it's
Yep.
by a guy named Francisco Cirillo. He's Italian. found a tomato-shaped kitchen timer. This is amazing. So he was a student, and he was trying to focus. He was trying to spend some time intentionally studying for classes, and he was struggling with that. So he saw a kitchen timer that was a tomato, shaped like a tomato.
Yep.
And he used this to help him set timers so that he knew focus for this amount of time, and when the timer was up, he would take a break. Pretty cool, huh, bro? So that's the Pomodoro effect. Pomodoro is Italian for
tomato.
Tomato. Don't you love that? I love it.
So the Pomodoro, this form of time blocking, pretty straightforward, honestly. You choose your assignment, whatever you're trying to get done.
Yeah.
You set a 25-minute timer.
Okay.
Okay. You work until it goes off, obviously.
Makes sense.
And you set a 5-minute break.
Okay.
Okay. Each one of these segments of 25 on and 5 off is called a Pomodoro. That's one tomato.
One tomato.
That's one tomato. Once you've done 4 of these, then you take a longer 15 to 30-minute break.
Ah, man.
So,
What a disciplined person to, number one, be introspective enough to know that he needed an infrastructure to help him focus. And number two, using what's around him. He didn't like go on Amazon and get a new desk and repaint his walls and set up this environment.
Just use the old kitchen timer.
Just saw a tomato timer, was like, that's going to work.
I'm going to make it work. Yeah.
So solution, this is, the idea is to break down bigger tasks into smaller ones with uninterrupted, focused work. So followed by breaks to relax your mind.
Yep.
Because we talked about in a future episode, work-life balance and how we exhaust our minds. We talked about, I said it in past tense and future tense. It's funny, we just recorded the episode. I don't know when it's going to drop. But anyway, whatever. In one of our episodes, we talked about
the order
work-life
we
balance.
record them is not the order we're dropping them.
Yeah. So regular breaks are important to do efficient work. After you finish each Pomodoro, which again is that 25-5, 4 times, you will feel a sense of accomplishment. You will also gain a blueprint of your productivity. Wow.
Yeah. What I like about this, and this might not be great for every task that you're ever going to do forever. This is not the end all be all.
Right.
But you know what? I was trying this out when we discovered it for making these notes.
Yeah.
And it's great for like the bullshit that you have to get done.
Taxes.
Like calculating your deductions. No, that's just perfect for those kind of just grindstone things you need to do, but you don't feel like doing.
Yes. Like for most solopreneurs, it's sales.
Right. So like 25 minutes is perfect because I'm sitting here, I'm reading like 12 different articles to do these notes. I'm looking at, whatever, these studies and stuff. I'm reading these stats.
Yeah.
And I get analysis paralysis.
Yeah.
And so then 25 minutes, crank it out, take 5 minutes to just chill.
Wow.
And like let the brain reset from all this stuff I'm reading, right? It's a lot of information coming in all at once.
Yeah.
And so actually it's great for this kind of shit.
I can't wait till our society catches up to the reality that we're just absolutely burning each other out as citizens. And like a meeting structure is like you meet for 25 minutes and then you do like a stretch exercise for 5.
I think meetings should all be done probably like what? Outside walking.
Oh,
It'd
my
be so
gosh.
much more productive.
Walking meetings.
I just think better when I'm walking.
Me too.
We should do a walking podcast
I wonder if we can ride our bikes and film an episode
without too much wind noise.
without me
Eating shit.
gasping. Yeah, falling. I'm gonna make it up this hill. So how does this help, bro? How does the Pomodoro effect help?
So what we want to do, it helps to plan how many Pomodoro intervals you need in a day to finish your tasks. Complete that required number of intervals and voila. You have accomplished your work within a pre-planned time frame. Wow. Look at that. Oh my gosh.
So we talked about work-life balance, and I think this is a pretty good infrastructure to look at what's required for you to accomplish the next step in your big dream and intentionally plan out these tomatoes.
This is for all the spreadsheet people out there, right?
Yeah.
They're like, I need 6 tomatoes to get all my work done. I'm going to put that on my spreadsheet.
But it's so cute, right? Like, I think that's what makes it so great. It's like next time you're just grinding and grinding, you start feeling tense and angry. You're just like, oh, I'm not using my tomato timer.
It actually is perfect because right when I'm starting to think like this sucks.
Yeah.
Right when you're starting to think like this is actually horrible. I don't want to do this anymore. What am I doing with my life? You take a 5-minute break and you come back for the next 25 minutes.
That's so good.
This is what I'm saying. It's great for these grind, mundane kind of things you have to do for whatever you're doing.
Yeah, and some of these things like use your break time to take a short walk, check in with a family member, right? Like if you haven't called your sibling in a long time, take 5 minutes, go for a walk, and call your brother or your sister, call a friend, stretch, meditate, take deep breaths, doodle, refill your water bottle. I don't know, use the bathroom, just
take your 5 minutes.
Yeah. So I think what don't do this is don't go eat a donut every time you take a break, because then
that's not a Pomodoro anymore. That's a I can't think of anything funny.
Yeah. So what's the Italian word for
donut? I don't know. I wish we could have been clever. But. So all right, this is actually from Forbes. I was reading this article. A 25-minute Pomodoro session is long enough to get a little work done, but not so long that it feels painful or overwhelming. That's pretty much exactly what I was experiencing.
Yeah, that's good.
Unlike trying to work without a break for hours, it's relatively easy to stack small sessions on top of each other. 4 Pomodoro sessions can represent a productive morning.
Yeah.
It's surprising how much you can accomplish in a short burst of focused work.
Wow.
Bro, I've experienced this firsthand. No, it is true, though.
Yeah. Well, we talked about before, like, we're distracted by bad meetings and notifications from the online platforms that we so choose to consume.
Yeah,
So I think, like what this, the intention of this is for that 25 minutes, for that one tomato, turn all that shit off.
You have to. It's not the Pomodoro technique if you're like constantly checking your phone and doing all this other shit. It's about 25 minutes of pure focus, getting it done.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's the only way this method works.
Yes.
It's not 25 minutes of, with your thumb up your ass, looking at your phone, doing a little work, and then 5-minute break. That's not, that doesn't make any sense.
I mean, I did have a visual of what you just said.
Of a thumb up my ass?
Checking your phone.
Oh.
Well, and with the thumb up your ass. But anyway, but yeah, so I think one thing that solopreneurs and side hustlers struggle with is we find ourselves quite often trying to execute a task in which we do not know how. Right. So
that's literally like 95% of being a solopreneur.
Yeah. So you're constantly learning these new skill sets, these new platforms, these new things. So I think it's really important to, inside your tomato, one tomato you should have today is make sure you have some mentors around you. Make sure you have people who are ahead of you, or who have different experiences and different skill sets that you have. If you know someone that's really good at networking, and you're not good at networking, it's uncomfortable for you, it gives you anxiety, one of your tomatoes should be calling and getting some specific task from them, right? Like, how do you do this? Like, what's your system for networking? And they're going to say, well, I look at certain events, I see who's going to be in that event, I see if they're my target customer, and then I go to the event, I make sure I have my one-liner. And then you take something that you don't know how to do and you turn it into a proper focus block.
Now you start labeling your tomatoes, bro.
Oh, yeah.
Hey, this is my networking tomato.
Yeah.
This is my
admin tomato.
It's my admin Pomodoro, bro.
Yeah, this is my email reply tomato. This is my sending out leads tomato.
Like I said, this is great for the spreadsheet people out there. They're like, okay, I've got 6 different tomatoes.
Yeah.
Different tasks. But hey, if that's what helps you, great.
This has absolutely nothing to do with this podcast.
Okay, let's hear it. I love it. I want to know.
But it does have to do with tomatoes.
What's that?
Do you ever eat a tomato like an apple?
Of course.
Me too. So we were at an event, and we had some friends from our local church at this event. It was a local farmer's market.
Yeah.
And this was a time period where there was like a whole bunch of new families that we were meeting. Like we were just all getting introduced to each other. And so there's a bunch of these families, and we're at the farmer's market, and I just saw this beautiful tomato for like $3. It was like this big farm tomato.
Nice. A real one.
A real one.
A real tomato.
Hopefully they didn't just buy it from Walmart and they're reselling it at the farmer's market. But anyway, it tasted good, so I didn't think so. But I got the tomato, and I was just sitting there eating it. A little salt on there, a little pepper on there, eating it like a tomato, or like an apple. And they just thought I was weird.
Oh my God, how can you don't laugh?
But it's a tomato. I mean, it's a little messy. You need a paper towel. But anyway, all that to say, Pomodoro effect, Pomodoro technique. Oh man! So one piece is we're very familiar with time blocking. Time blocking is like the new kid on the block.
Brian is a professional time blocker.
Yeah, I love time blocking.
I actually block time blocking from my life. No, I'm just kidding. I've been adopting it a little more.
Yeah, so there's an app out there. I forgot the name of it, but if you look it up, I was kind of intrigued by it. It's an app that you just put in all the things you have to do and all the things you want to do, like walk, exercise, read, listen to a podcast, whatever. And then then AI, it takes it and it takes your work hours and it automatically drops those on your calendar. And then as you adjust it adjusts. So that's kind of cool if you don't know how to time block or you don't really care about the system itself. Me personally, I love time blocking. On Sunday nights, typically I'll sit down, I'll look at my week, I'll look at what I have to accomplish or what I've committed to accomplish.
Yeah.
What I would like to accomplish. And then anything above that, I like to block that out. I even block, like, get up with my kids. I block that. Ride the Peloton and take a cold shower. I block that.
Everything's accounted for.
That's right. Bro, I block that.
Do you time block your dumps?
You know what?
You're like between 11 and 1, I've got 4.5 minutes to use the bathroom.
I don't time block my dumps yet, but that's because they're still inconsistent.
But if you ate at the same time every single day and you ate the same thing, it would probably be the same.
But
I'm not saying you should do that.
Yeah, what's funny is, like, I remember like I read this article that, like, billionaires or CEOs of big companies get up every day at 4 a.m. and they work out for an hour and a half. And I remember like thinking that if I wanted to be like them, I had to follow their schedule. And that's just not true. Like, there's also billionaires that just hung out on their yacht all week. So the reality is, the beauty of time blocking is you don't time block to be like someone else. You time block to learn your body, your rhythms, when you're creative, when you grind, when you're tired, and you improve that time blocking system again and again. And then you start saying things like, I'm not going to time block 6 a.m. workout because I'm not going to get up at 6 a.m.
Yeah.
Or if the night before, which happens to me quite often, your brain is spinning and you can't go to sleep until like 2 o'clock. Then you just, before you go to bed or when you wake up, you just adjust your time blocks. You're like, I'm not going to get up at 6 a.m. because I went to bed at 2, and you just adjust your time blocks.
Very well put, Brian.
Yeah. It's not a strict system that you put on your calendar and you beat yourself up if you don't hit the time block.
What you're telling me right now is that everyone's different?
Yes.
Wow. So your time block is how you discover to be the most efficient you.
Yes. No, that's such a good point, bro, because, man, we didn't even intend on saying that, but I think that's critical. So for solopreneurs and side hustlers, a lot of times solopreneurs are like the most critical of themselves. They're constantly shaming themselves because they're motivated. But a lot of times that motivation turns into, the inner critic just shaming you for not accomplishing or not figuring out something that day. But yes, the system of time blocking is not to conform yourself to someone else's rhythms. The purpose of time blocking is to better understand your rhythms and how you work.
And how you can be the most efficient you.
Yes, and then start blocking around that. If you're the most efficient, if you're the most focused at night from 9 to 11, then that means you need to make sure that you are not distracted that time.
Yeah, so putting on a black turtleneck does not make you Steve Jobs. And doing the exact same workout and time blocking that he does not mean you're going to have a $1 trillion market cap company.
Yeah, not at all.
It's about doing what works for you.
Yes. Oh my gosh, this is so good. The Pomodoro Technique. Tomatoes.
It's the Pomodoro. It's so stupid.
That is amazing. It's the Pomodoro Technique.
It's the finding the Pomodoro within yourself.
Yes, gosh.
Find your inner tomato.
Yes. Oh man, this is if you made it to the end of this podcast.
Thank you so much.
The most important lesson in this episode is stop shaming yourself for not following a strict schedule, and allow the intention of understanding your time blocks and your tomatoes to build a more efficient you.
I like it. I think we can wrap up with that one.
Let's go.
Let's go.
Thank you for listening to the FocusCast. Go to youtube.com/thefocuscast and slap that subscribe button. Head to thefocuscast.com to share what you want to hear next. Go forth and be focused as
I had to turn that up.
boy.
It's so good.
I had to turn it up. It's just, I was grooving.